What's up, Joe?
Hey, Brad, how you doing today, man?
Good. Looks like you and I both lost our razors.
Yeah, my daughter's giving me shit. It's like I got to get in and shave
I just
myself
barely
today.
had time to get a fucking shower in because I spent my entire morning on fucking phone calls. So,
Always fun.
yeah, it's a great
That's what
help for productivity. If
Yeah,
I was
that's
on
what
a phone call with somebody that was going to do my work for me, it'd be a different story. But I haven't found that person.
No, I'm kind of trying to find some internee type. The investment banking model where they pair like a senior banker with a new banker.
Yeah.
And then basically it creates consistency.
In your case, it's a old wanker with a new wanker.
Exactly. But they, so the intellectual capital doesn't get lost when people leave. The contacts stay with the firm because there's always somebody to reload in that position.
Right.
And
right.
so, you can work them like dogs, basically.
So we're recruiting from people listening to the show, are we?
But hey, man, look, you get 50 plus years of wisdom coming from the two of us. So, I'll leave it at that. But someone has the energy. You know how it is. These 21-year-olds can work 100 hours a week.
That's fucking awesome.
And in the end, they, all of a sudden they're making.
Oh, I'm not supposed to be working 120 hours a week.
No, you're not. You got a family to take care of.
That's why I got sleep.
Well, I guess that's work too, right? That's
3.5 hours sleep last night. Yeah.
Oh, I put in a power sleep. I think I got I woke up at 5, went back to sleep till like 7:30.
Oh shit!
I was just like, screw it. I got to catch up because I just feel worn out.
Yeah.
But I feel good today. Lots of good action out in the market. Lots of big news.
Yeah. Let me share the most important
everything's holding
news.
Up. Yeah, go for it.
Let me share the most important news first.
C. Oh, sorry.
No.
The wrong one. I thought your boy CZ was your big news today.
No. Disney Plus announces an Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming May 15th. That is the big fucking news of the day, man.
That's why everybody signs in for this podcast thing, man.
Dude,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I can't fucking wait. My son has actually been rewatching all the Star Wars flicks because he feels like he watched them when he was, I made him watch them when he was like fucking 4 or 5 years old. So he's trying to catch up. And then this morning I saw this and I'm like, oh, that's friggin' awesome. So, we spend a lot of hours watching Marvel and lately some DC shit and, sci-fi stuff, and this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. We watched Mandalorian together, all that. So
anyway, how many Star Wars are there now? There's like 30 or something.
God,
right?
It's incredible. I have no idea. I'm not a Star Wars junkie. There's a lot that in the animated stuff that I haven't seen, that kind of stuff. But their Mandalorian was awesome. The new one. They have a new series, and now I'm drawing a total blank. Anyway, it's getting good reviews, so I'm really looking forward. To this one. The backstory on Obi-Wan Kenobi should be interesting. Anyway,
it's just so confusing though because the first one we saw, the first Star Wars actually then turned into the episode 4.
Yeah.
And so they kind of went 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then back to 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then all of these prequels came out and stuff, and I'm just having trouble keeping track of who's who at this point. Like. The one with the gal who's the lead character or the main character protagonist. I can't remember her name. Big actor name. And she ends up meeting up with Luke Skywalker at the end of one of the episodes when he's young, and then another time he's old. Oh, wait. Chuck's weighing in on something. Maybe he knows the answer.
Oh, I bet he does, because if there was ever a nerd that would know the Star Wars.
It's Chuck. Unless
it's all Alec Guinness CGI. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a Star Wars maximalist on our hands.
Yeah, exactly. Purist. None of that Marvel or any of that shit. I just want Alec Guinness OG.
Hey, we had Alex on yesterday from Eureka, and I posted up my interview with him this morning. And as I was going through it again last night to pull out some snippets and do some edits, this is a really thoughtful project. He's really taking such a foundational approach to it. So if nothing else, I encourage everyone to listen to it because I think there's a lot of smart thinking behind it. and I think it'll give people some ideas. And I think it's a better way. And I think his timing is awesome for this. And, at the beginning of whatever you want to call it, bear, bull, in between, sideways chopping, whatever. Really impressed after listening again. So,
and it's also a bit of a hidden gem. I mean, a lot of people are searching out the market cap's only 50 grand. So a lot of people are searching out low market cap plays. You heard him. Stuff he's doing makes sense. Trying to experiment with new protocols. I mean, this is something I haven't bought any yet, but I probably am, just because I thought he's smart and he has as good a chance as anybody else of making it big. So,
I got the airdrop, and then I got the airdrop. I bought a little more, and then after listening to the interview last night, I bought more. Obviously, so we're biased. I'm an investor in it, but I'm nothing significant because it doesn't take a lot to invest in this.
You could 30,000. You can take it over. Not really. It's
Alex, we're taking over your project.
Yeah.
No,
just kidding. The protocol isn't set up for that right now.
No.
Yeah, super good guy. I recommend everybody learn more about it.
Yep, absolutely. So this is big news. And it's a fucking master move. It's just this guy never fucking stops just killing it.
I do wonder if there might be a FinCEN issue or a CFIUS issue here, just because, coming both from crypto and, we don't know the Chinese connections all in on this. I mean, he's Canadian, but we don't know. So I would expect that this deal gets looked at, but I like it because crypto going into mainstream financial media, I mean, that's big time. So,
and it's funny because we just interviewed Andrew Thurman last week, and he was talking about how, CoinDesk expects to replace Forbes and the other financial publications or chains or whatever you want, conglomerates.
That's right.
So this kind of puts an interesting spin on that. It's like, oh, well, where does this go from here? And what does that do to the incumbent crypto publications, right? Because obviously there's going to be a focus here. Now, the other interesting thing here is I'm sure this investment's not coming from the exchange. The investment's coming from the venture capital arm or him, because that conflict of interest would be just ridiculous, right?
Press coverage. Yeah. How would it affect Forbes coverage and Binance? Those kind of things. Yeah. Good points.
Yeah. So anyway, it certainly would help with the narrative, but I thought CoinMarketCap was smart, and I think this is just seismic level investment. It's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, 200 million, right?
200 million, man. 200 million. I haven't read the details on it yet. I need to do that, but just pretty powerful. And then, of course, the story is in CNBC, so that's interesting impact with them and what happens there. But anyway, it's
two other institutional things if you want me just to follow up with those.
Quick. Now get this. It's a SPAC. Wait a minute. So the funds will help Forbes execute on its plans to merge with a publicly traded special purpose acquisition company or SPAC in the first quarter, according to people with knowledge of the deal. Oh, very interesting.
So he's cashing up Forbes so that they can contribute to the SPAC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I don't like SPACs. The SPACs come and go. I think that they're kind of running their duration now because it's so frothy, and they end up half the time being worthless.
I mean, I think something like this with the intellectual property that Forbes has is, you're getting a lot of value right away. So, at the end of the day, I think it's all about whether or not a SPAC works or a DAO works or anything else works, an IPO works, is based on whether or not the people running it execute, right? And so I definitely think the hype around them is overblown, but I think that if this gives them the opportunity to go out and acquire a lot of media brands, then, there could be some good potential for this. But at the end of the day, I think it's really smart by CZ to take this piece.
I like the move. See if it happens, closes. Yep. But the thing with the SPACs too, is you really got to watch the front end of the SPAC, because whoever sets it up always just takes a huge gash out of it. And so the new investor money's paying off the guys that set it up. So there's a
Sure.
lot of, just really have to be careful with these. Because I said half of them just vaporize. It's
Yeah.
like the new hustle. It's like
Yeah.
reverse mergers into shells. And everybody goes,
Exactly.
oh, we're going public. And I'm like, what? In Utah or something? Whatever. It's a joke. So let me pop my screen up real quick just to follow
Yeah.
on the institutional stuff.
Okay.
Because I talk about these guys a lot. All right. And we'll kick it back to you. BlackRock planning to offer crypto trading, sources say.
Yeah.
$10 trillion under management. This is a monstrous move.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's
not surprised. You're not surprised, are you?
No, I think it's like, bye Coinbase. That's what I think. When these guys start doing
well, they're not going to go down to retail. Maybe Coinbase institutional.
Latin investment platform. I think that goes out to all their wealth managers.
Okay.
And that's the one that they use for, which I think they've got like 4 trillion under wealth management. So that's, I haven't read the whole article either.
That's an interesting play for my buddy Eric. Hold on.
It's just investments engine. There's an SEC filing. Oh yeah, BlackRock also owns, and I talk about this a lot too, 16.3% of MicroStrategy. So they're the biggest shareholder, and that's why I always thought that MicroStrategy was, has always had to have permission from BlackRock to do their whole BTC strategy. Saylor had to have it, or they would, fire them basically. Yeah. So I thought that was their kind of test to see how people were going to react, and now they're like, oh wow, okay, everybody's in on this. So, so that's a big time. And one other thing I thought was cool too, Salesforce is working on an NFT cloud service, which I was very surprised by this.
That's interesting.
That's as enterprise as it gets.
Yeah, but what does that mean? An NFT cloud service? What the fuck does that mean?
I know, man. Let's see. Told employees, sales kickoff, company, NFT cloud product. Okay, they take it on the world of art. And Salesforce sees an opportunity to bring the technology into enterprise software. So they're going to probably do something, they have CRM interface that the Salesforce automation piece that they use all the time. And they added so many more capabilities. I haven't really looked at them in a couple of years, but it looks like Salesforce provides cloud-based software for sales reps, marketing departments, and e-commerce vendors. Wants to offer a service for artists to create content and release it on a marketplace like OpenSea. That's really interesting.
That is interesting.
So
very interesting.
Yeah. So they're going into the creations. I thought maybe they were going to go into the high-end NFT spice, like finance and real estate, the more enterprisey angles. But still, that is ERP in this country right now or in the globe. So I thought those were two cool. And then finally, there's the third one. I'll kick it back to you. IMF report, gearing up for central bank digital currency. Since we read the Fed one, probably World Bank's got one out there, and IMF. It's important just to read all this stuff to see what everybody's thinking. You can just Google it. Future of money, gearing up for central bank digital currency. But yeah, that's 3 big things that I thought were cool.
Yeah, it's big news day. Yeah, hold on one second. It's interesting. I've got to look up. I'm going to message my buddy Eric that I interviewed. That they have the wealth management platform for crypto, and I want to get a feel for him how the BlackRock thing could impact them and their initiatives, because they worked really hard to build that out. He came from the ETF world into fund management and is a huge crypto advocate. But I'm wondering if that's I'm wondering if that's going to have an impact on their business. So
yeah, I would say yes. Yeah, I'll just say yes right out of the gate. The other one I thought was interesting. We talk a lot about Blackstone, and actually one of the companies I advise, one of the investment banks I advise, they did a big deal with Blackstone. They're pretty deep there. Maybe we should hook him up with Blackstone.
Yeah, we could potentially do that. Yeah.
Because
I'll ping him and see what's up.
Yeah, because Blackstone's obviously looking too. And when BlackRock makes a move like this, Blackstone's not going to want to be, not have a seat at the table. I honestly don't know what Blackstone's already doing in the space, though, to be honest. I don't know.
So this tool, Yield Rodeo, that I found the other day, I think I had actually found it previously, and we talked briefly about it, but I really like it because it's fast. This is essentially a product that will let you find yields by token, whether or not they're liquidity pools or single staking, what blockchain you want to be on, if you want to be on a specific a platform like, say, PancakeSwap, Aave, Sushi, whatever. But it works really well, and I've been really impressed with the initial searches I did. So right now I've got it set for these stables: USDC, DAI, BUSD, USDT. Let's add Frax. And then I have not having liquidity pools and single assets. So essentially these are all single staking pools. And then I chose Phantom, right? So it immediately kind of updates these results for you. And then you can sort by daily APR, monthly APR, or overall APY. But really, really fast acting platform. I really like this thing a lot. I really like it a lot. So recommend everybody give it a check out, see if it works for you. You click on one of the ones, and then you can go ahead and do the deposits, buy the tokens, the whole bit. The links are there. So I just like it. I think it's a nice, clean, fast platform for finding yields. So maybe we'll do this for a DGen session. We'll use this coming up here, Joe. Maybe we'll have some time today. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I threw the 3 links in from those the BlackRock, Salesforce, and IMF report in the chat. So
beautiful.
Wants to look.
All right, cool. Real quick, this I find really interesting. For those of you that aren't aware of the history, EOS blockchain was formed. What was that? What year was that? They started that
16, 17, ICO. Something like that. Oh, the rolling $4 billion
yeah,
raise?
2018. So yeah. they started their rolling ICO, right? So essentially it was like the eternal ICO. Back in 2018, raised $4 billion with 900 million tokens. And so they had all these big plans. I believe you can write either JavaScript or Python. I think it's JavaScript to write smart contracts on the platform. EOS is very fast. It works pretty well. So the actual chain they built is high functioning, high speed. They built out a nice community of users and developers. And, with all that money, it certainly seemed like there would be no problem kind of accomplishing their goals and really penetrating the market. I mean, you look at what Avalanche and Phantom have done with $200 to $400 million in incentives for developers. It shouldn't be too difficult to get people onboarded and creating great products. Now, I think one of their problems is they're seen as dated and old. But you would think Ethereum and Bitcoin would be as well. Anyway, the managing company behind this, Block One, has, according to the people that live in the community, which is the EOS N Foundation, a group that was formed to take over running the day-to-day of the actual EOS blockchain and the development of it, they haven't done shit. So the original platform was created, the original blockchain was created, and then they got into negotiations to take over every aspect of it and to receive the funds that Block One currently has. This is Brock Pierce, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't remember if he was part of that. Yeah.
And that boy's got some mixed background issues as well in terms of some controversies. And of course, he decided he was suitable for running for president last year, which was
fabulous,
a hysterical joke.
What party was he running with?
His independent. It was an independent.
Oh yeah, no. But he did settle up with the SEC right away. I do remember that.
Well, when you got $4 billion, that's not hard to do. Yeah,
they paid a couple $100 million fine or something, and it's like, all right, go ahead, go about your business.
Yeah. So they were negotiating basically to take the money over, and this guy Yves LaRose is leading. He's the founder of and leading the foundation to trying to take over EOS, right? Which you can't blame the community. People that have invested time, years of effort, writing code, building products on it. They're pissed off that shit's not happening with this thing. And essentially, Block One decided they were going to become like an asset management company instead of, funding and running the network. So this foundation was created. I think they have some level of technical control over the network now, and they went into negotiations with Pierce and Block One, from what I understand, to get the funds, I believe was the whole issue. And Block One walked away from the negotiations. So now Eves and the foundation are potentially pursuing a lawsuit for $4.1 billion of coincidental amounts.
Nice.
And look, I think at the end of the day, it's just like, get your ass back to the table lawsuit threat, right? But, the problem is, so on one hand, I understand their frustration. They want the money to build the network and incentivize projects on the network. On the other side of it, not many people are going to invest time, effort, and money in a network that's embroiled in a 15-year, $4.1 billion lawsuit, right? Because you don't know what's coming out the other side, and you don't know who's going to end up with control. Right. So I understand they feel like they have their backs against the wall. This is all they can do. But I just thought this whole thing was interesting. And, there's a lot of fans of this protocol. So
isn't this the one that Wax is on? And I think Corey.
Yeah. So Wax is like, I don't know what they're called on EOS. I think it's like a subnet on Avalanche, where Wax is its own blockchain connected to EOS. So it functions the same way EOS does, but it is actually part of the EOS network. And obviously Wax has a definitive interest in what happens here. From what I've seen in the community, people like Corey, our buddy Corey, they are all on the side of the foundation, taking it over and having control and having the money, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But, who knows what happens.
Maybe we can get them on for 5 minutes to tell us what they're thinking.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll ping him in the next day or two and see if we can't get him on. So
I remember when these guys were out going all in that too, and there was something with Bancor as well. And I remember because they were approaching one of my clients to somehow move them into that protocol, which we didn't do. It was prohibitively expensive, and I'm glad they didn't now. Right. But, here's another one. This is back there in that realm. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but it's like Cardano and Stellar and EOS. Those were, as we say, so into 2018, man.
Yeah.
It's like now they're all trying to figure out what to do next.
Well, and the only thing happening on this blockchain is Wax, right?
Yeah.
So,
so they're day trading the wallet, basically, the 4B.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Before I get into my my next topic, do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Oh yeah, just a couple of things real quick, because I know you're going to dive deep in that one. Let me just flip real quick. Wasn't this one I was interested in? It was Aave's launching decentralized social media platform on Polygon, which I thought was
Lens Protocol.
Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you talk. I haven't read.
No. So look, I think this is interesting. I think it's has the potential to be really powerful. And Maki from Sushi is actually an advisor on this protocol and to Aave in general. And I like that somebody's doing this. I think, this idea of this B2B play, really, where this is just a developer's platform, right? They're not launching a social network. They're just providing the nuts and bolts to be able to launch social networks on the blockchain. And I understand that play, right? I understand hey, we want to create this platform so people can build stuff on it. And it's certainly something that reduces responsibility, workload, et cetera. But I think you run into gaps when you don't at least launch with an example, right? And I actually said that to Maki 2 days ago. I said, look, I don't understand. Why would you launch this thing and not at least have an example, network up of people that collect purple puppy NFTs on OpenSea, right? Just some stupid little niche social network. And my apologies to all the purple puppy NFT collectors, but somebody, something that's just an example right? Something tangible, something people can see. So the functionality that's available on this protocol is can stir people's ideas and thoughts. I'm assuming they think that people will create vertical social media networks, but I don't know.
Well,
I think it's a gamble, not just building the fucking network, right? So if you have this modular system and this protocol that developers can develop on, why not start with the core network, like the Twitter of crypto, and then people can verticalize off of that, right? Because it is a developer's protocol. But I think just laying it out there and hoping people are going to build a social network on it, I would have probably done it a little differently. Now, I haven't built Aave, so who the fuck am I? But from a product perspective, I think there's some limits.
Yeah, well, he's the CEO of Aave. It calls it an alternative to Twitter. One of the initial plan launched on Ethereum. Now it's on Polygon. But the whole time, what they're saying up here is that users will own their own data. So it sounds to me like it's going, broad. While applications can plug into the open social graph. Following someone on the platform generates a follow NFT, while users can collect published work by creators on the platform, republish it through a mirror feature, which acts as a referral link, earning a share or a cut from anyone that collects the original content via the mirror. And then something about DAO profiles and social-based verification. But Aave seems to be talking hardcore about how Twitter takes all the retweets and all the likes and all that and monetizes it for themselves. They're trying to create a platform where the users monetize that data, not the platform. So that's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And conceptually, all of that functionality and feature capabilities is awesome. But I think it's just, my personal preference would be Aave builds a network. And then they have a core network and everyone builds off of it. Like a blockchain, right? It's here it is. Here's the core functionality. Here's where users come in, get started with it, get a feel for it. And then everybody can build their own social dApps on top of it and customize the look and feel and customize the functionality and verticalize the news and information that's in it, whatever. But I just would have preferred them actually launch something that people could try. So anyway.
Yeah. Did you ever fear, this is the sushi swap. Did that on-chain DAO proposal pass? This is
I haven't looked. I have no idea. We should definitely look that up before tomorrow's show.
Yeah, something about Pokeball, formalized sushi as an on-chain DAO.
Yeah, that was the DAO proposal, but I don't know if the votes happened yet.
Okay, but there's a good article on that out. And I go through, and something about McDonald's is trademarking a virtual restaurant featuring actual and virtual goods and operating a virtual restaurant featuring home delivery. That's interesting. Yeah. So you go to like the metaverse, you go to the virtual Mickey D's, you look at the counter, you pick what you want, and they deliver it to you in real world. I think cool. That's pretty clever. This is my DC pals. Shoto opened a DC location on it's a high-end sushi restaurant. So go check it out. Show you guys. And then this stupid article in the Atlantic talking about a Web3 crypto backlash. I mean, I like the Atlantic. I read it a lot, but I just don't get this article. I mean, it just they don't get it. So I recommend reading it. And then this is
it's just like everyone else. They're spewing out the same fucking talking points. I saw Gary Vee today on CNBC. And the so-called anchor or reporter or whatever the fuck she calls herself, just spewing out the same clueless shit. And now it's racists and Nazis is the line they're throwing out. And Gary, it's on my. You guys can look at my.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Vandervunk or something like that.
I don't fucking know. She's an idiot.
Well, they're all going to get disintermediated or disrupted. That's what they're figuring out.
Yeah,
is that and CNBC has been the pump and dump media property since like 1995.
Yeah.
So I mean, remember people would just trade on the shit that came on.
What was the piece of shit token that they put up that they were like promoting? There was something. I don't remember what it was, and I was like,
but this, for you Apple fanboys,
SEC.
Did you see this Apple iPhone feature to give merchants a way to accept crypto payments?
I did. And I saw a really fucking funny meme video let me see if I can find this. Of somebody said this is Jack finding out that Apple's partnered with Stripe.
Oh wait, here we got somebody talking. Mochi. Let's see if I hear. Oh, that's spam. Fuck him.
No horns,
not?
no tail. He got his helium miner. Remember we were talking about?
Oh
helium?
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he got his helium miner. He's already got
apologies.
2 other. Yeah, calling no horns, no tail a fucking.
Sorry, no horns, no tail. I just looked real quick and I didn't see the question, so I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, he's a good guy, so don't anybody take what I said literally.
Yeah, so I mean that's exciting, man. Are you making bank?
I wonder. It was NBC.
Yeah.
Squid Game. Then 4 days later, they rugged.
Yeah, let me find this Jack at Jack Stripe Apple. You know, because his Square, they were making fun of him for finding out that Apple and Stripe have partnered to accept crypto. Hold on, let me see it. Where is the fucking? I don't know. I'll look for it later. But it was friggin' hilarious.
The other thing that was interesting is, well, Fitch lowered El Salvador's rating due to Bitcoin adoption. And then El Salvador plans to issue first Bitcoin bond next month. So I thought that was pretty funny. That's tracking now. So we'll see how that's going to happen. I know that those guys that I'm talking to down there, you know, it's all super, super positive on everything. The El Salvadorans feel that way. It's just the rest of international finance development type organizations are just scared.
Yeah.
And then one other thing. Oh, and this was big. I knew the founder. I know the founder. Don't know him anymore. But Mark Pincus, one of the founders of Zynga, did Farmville. Oh, yeah. They're releasing their first NFT game this year.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen what the Zynga stock price is, but last time I looked about years ago, it was in the tank. That might be an interesting play on the equities side. Oops. No, I'm not.
All right, I found this video of Jack finding out about Stripe Apple. Hold on, let me get the speakers up so everybody can hear it. Hold on.
You guys share.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I wish there was a way. I wish this shit would stream through computer audio. I don't understand StreamYard. I'm so over them. By the way, I paid for that lifetime Melon license. We got to do that. So
yeah.
All right, let me see if this will pick up. Let me change my game to universal. Let me know if you can hear this, okay?
I can hear you so far.
Oh, I got to share the screen. So this is funny as shit. So Jack Dorsey finding out Apple and Stripe teamed up to make the iPhone a card reader, right? Wait. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Please hold. Please hold. We're having technical difficulties. I realized I have to move to speakers. Otherwise, nobody can hear it. Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Yes.
I can hear it. Don't play like that. Are you serious? How you know? Put that on everything. Damn. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back.
That's funny as shit, man. I like
Dude,
that.
it's like brutal. Let me switch off those speakers. Look, Apple, when Apple does it, especially with Stripe, who has the infrastructure, that's going to make shit real interesting. If I as a small business owner can take payments, tightly integrated with the operating system, I'm probably not going to use that plug-in Stripe Square card reader anymore. So, especially if I can take crypto too.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, PayPal. Wait, Cash App isn't Cash App Dorsey?
Cash App Square. At Jack is Square and Cash App.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I love. I'm a big user of Cash App.
I don't really use it at all, but I use PayPal sometimes, Venmo. But look, what I'm getting at is it's making it easy for everybody to do stuff on their phone.
Yeah,
and
crypto
buy
and,
things
and money and unify
invest,
it, right?
and that's what's super cool.
Well,
I
and
just
then
want
Apple gets to play bank, right? That's what Cash App's doing, right? Cash App, you can now deposit checks, and you can actually go to a convenience store and deposit cash into Cash App. So why do you need a bank anymore, right? If they had a business version of it, I would do it, because I've got crypto, I've got stocks, and I've got my USD all in one app, and I can send it to anybody. I can take from it. I can spend it. I have a debit card, a custom debit card. So there's a lot of power in that. So I'm sure that's where Apple's headed. It's like, why should I give this to Cash App? I can be the bank. I have an Apple credit card. We have a credit card. So now we'll become a merchant account provider, and we'll become their personal bank. Like, my kids don't have debit cards. How do they pay for things at stores when I'm not around? They have Apple Cash on their phone, and the card readers treat it as a debit card. So it makes total sense, right? If I were a bank, I'd be shitting a brick if I'm not the partner bank for Apple and the Cash Apps of the world. Because at some point, when you're shutting down branches, I don't need you anymore. I don't. The only thing I need right now a bank for is my business account. I don't need a regular bank, especially if I've got Cash App or Apple Bank, right? So, and Apple can just buy a fucking bank.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of antitrust issues there, but yeah, I get your point. I mean, they have the most users. It's going to be easy to do. I mean, I see PayPal growing like crazy, and it's, I started off just using it on the internet, but then I also have, I have bank cards, but I use those mostly, but still I use that for certain things.
Chuck says Goldman is the bank, not exactly Apple, but yeah, that's what I meant by they have to have a banking partner. Cash App has a banking partner too, but at that point, all the world needs is Goldman, right? Or Apple, right? So
Goldman doesn't do a lot of work with the middle class on down.
No.
But look, check this article out. Ben Lilly's is
sorry, real quick. And the
go.
other thing, think about all the unbanked. That's a gigantic fucking market.
Well, just the one thing, you just understand El Salvador has 70% unbanked.
Yeah. Well, even in this country, we have ridiculous.
Botswana is.
Yeah.
What do you think Zaire is? Yeah, the U.S.
All the population of unbanked.
Well, the one thing, like even in Miami, I mean, the official population numbers they show are like literally 33% of who actually lives here, because there's a lot of people that never formalized citizenship. Yeah. But they own houses, they have jobs, they pay taxes, they do all the things that citizens do. But they have difficulty with bank accounts sometimes, the new ones. And that's where PayPal and Cash App and all these things fit in, and all the other ones trying to bank these people. Because I don't mean these people, but bank those that don't have accounts. I'm sorry, because I want to see all of them in the banking system. I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I'm very pro integration.
I know you are.
Illegal or otherwise, because I figure those are just the go-getters we want in here at the bottom of this big Ponzi scheme.
Exactly.
So,
listen, look, I think that there's a valid argument to be made here that bank stocks aren't great coming. I mean, if my bank is my phone, then all I need is the only bank we need is Goldman, or the only bank we need is the bank that partnered with Cash App. Right? Yeah. Now banks are just for the big moves, the big financial moves, it's no longer about retail customers. And look, the banks have been shutting down branches at a rapid pace. So if I've got an ATM at the convenience store and I've got everything else in the app, and now I've got crypto, I don't
Well, I don't ever go. I mean, I only go when I need to deposit a check into somebody's account directly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay the wire fee.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of nearby, but I don't ever really go in there for anything.
I'll give you an example, right? Here's what I'm going to seriously consider for my wife and me. We had an account at Simple for years, which was it's a fintech play that was a bank, but it was like no fees, all digital. But there were branches you bank You could do deposits at like Walgreens and that kind of stuff. And it was perfect for us. And then they got bought by BBVA, right? And BBVA basically kept the functionality of it the same. Then 6 months later, they get bought by PNC. And what does PNC do? They onboard everybody. And now they want to charge us 15, 20 bucks a month in April after a 6 month, trial. They're going to start charging us 15, 20 bucks a month for having a fucking personal checking account, right? And it's not even a full checking account. It doesn't even come with wire transfers. It comes with these stupid limits on everything, no matter how much money you put in there. So why would I bother when we can do everything we want to do in a Cash App or Apple later? Evan Evanson, woo, I'm watching live for once. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Evan. Appreciate it. Thanks, Evan. Love having you here.
Yeah, I just on the bank stuff. Yeah, I do notice they charge just outrageous maintenance fees because I have small accounts from my daughter there that she uses for, Ubers and, spending and whatever. But the limits, the balances are low. So they hit me like 20 bucks a month on that, which I'm always like, God damn. But then, I also bank at USAA some. And, the credit unions usually don't have those fees.
That's true. Credit unions are superior.
Yeah. So, a couple of credit unions, DC area, Navy Federal Credit Union, Pentagon Federal Credit Union, anybody that's had anybody, their parents, or they've been in the military, USAA is the way to go for auto insurance and credit cards and banks, no fees and no ATM withdrawal fees. So the big banks, they're gashing that, like you said. But what's interesting is that when interest rates start going up, usually the banks, perform better because they can charge more.
Right.
So I think the banks will do well, but I think that going near term when this next up cycle, but stocks also usually outperform when interest rates are going up after the first little, let's figure out what's going on. It's when they start cutting interest rates that the market tends to tip over, which is pretty interesting because a lot of people don't think that way. But look at this. We talk about Ben Lilly and Jarvis Labs a lot. The second article of that piece on Euro dollar futures or whatever came out on the 8th. I recommend, it's heavy duty macroeconomic analysis. So it's not going to be for everyone, but I recommend everyone go read this. Again, it's just Google Espresso, Substack, Ben Lilly, and you'll get all his articles. I think his stuff is, they have that AI, whatever thing they do on trading signals, but I just read the articles because he's definitely super bright. Yeah. And there was one other thing we did that. And then some report was, there's a lot of people are feeling that BTC price going up is just sitting on a powder keg right now. I'm seeing a lot of people again talking about ETH 12,000, BTC 200K at end of year this year. So go check this article out too. It gives a couple of reasons, their rationale. I'd rather just have people read it rather than me talk about it. But you can see the case for ETH right here. And they're specifically talking about the supply side dynamics and, all these things going forward. But good article. I recommend everybody read it. And there was one other thing I wanted to share. Oh, this one, I don't know what to think about this. Not that I care whether they're using Bitcoin or not, but they're crowdfunding the defense budget or something like that. Only $500,000. People are donating. So they must be crowdfunding for donations for gear and stuff like that. Thought it was interesting because they're using Bitcoin, but it looks like it's only $500,000.
I was on a call. I was on a call with a Ukrainian yesterday, and before we got started, we were talking about the situation. And he said that the stress levels in the country are just horrible. Like there's nothing else going on in that country except talking about whether or not they're going to war. And I can't imagine what that's like living like that. Now, I can't imagine trying to explain it to my kids, especially younger kids. But that extreme level of pressure and knowing that they're kind of caught in the middle and that, the power that Russia has to basically take over that country is pretty astounding. A lot of people think they're just bluffing and that really what they want to do is engage the West in dealing with it. And they don't really give a shit about taking it over. They just know that it will keep the West occupied while they do whatever else they do. But they just think it's an intelligence play by by Putin.
Well, yeah, I hear other chatter. I hear, in addition to that, that a lot of the senior military command staff is super worried about this, that he's not recognizing that how unified the actual Ukrainians are against them, because most of the Russian Ukrainians have already basically been annexed.
Yeah, they already.
And
Yeah,
they're not there. So the ones that are left are definitely, the vast majority is pro-Ukrainian.
Yep.
Two, that China's egging them on and watching this, because the Chinese have always coveted the Eastern Siberian oil fields the Russians have, because China doesn't have oil other than in surprise, the Uyghur province, where they're committing, all kinds of crazy
atrocities.
Shit. And then they're watching to see what we do about Ukraine, because, they always want to make the move on Taiwan. So I think Putin's kind of, and also this kind of ties into the kind of the big buy the dip thing today on Bitcoin, is that, also hearing a lot of Russian oligarchs are now converting into Bitcoin. So that tells me that they're sort of expecting that the shit's going to hit the fan. And this is probably going to be the end of forecast. I don't know anything I'm talking about, but this could be what sort of does in Putin, because the senior oligarchs are getting tired of him, and awesome. The military is. So he's got to deliver now. Well, but now he's surrounded.
Who replaces him? But I'd love to see his ass out.
Now there's U.S. bases in Lithuania, Slovakia, Poland, Romania, everywhere. And so that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
So, to me, I think he's making a colossal blunder. And I have tons of Russian friends, and that, live here, live in DC, that I've known, because a while back, we were all friends. I'm friends with these people still, but I'm saying Russia, US. Right. And I always thought it would be so great to get them into NATO, and into the European Union, because that's what the Russian people deserve.
Yeah.
So, that's just my sense, but, we'll see how it turns out. But either way, hopefully it de-escalates, and, we don't end up dropping bodies all over the place.
Let's talk about this putz.
Oh, this is your boy. Okay. Now we can really rant. All right, good.
This fucking guy, man. There's a lot of obnoxious behavior in crypto. A lot. That we've all seen it. There's a lot of people that just annoy the fuck out of you, but some people like these guys. I don't get it, but some people do. They like the brash, shitty asshole attitude. But this guy actually worries me a lot. So I'd never heard of him until the other night. I don't know if you pronounce that Yi or Ye. But I'm going to go with Yi, Harry Yi. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. So Harry is the managing partner and founder at Quantum Fintech Group. But more importantly, Harry is one of the original investors in the Phantom Foundation. So provided evidently a good chunk of money to get Phantom off the ground. Provided a big chunk of money for the foundation's grants program. But Harry also has a difficult time understanding what DeFi is all about. So I'm innocently, surfing Twitter 2 nights ago, and somehow somebody linked me to this tweet by this. The people that just don't have a fucking filter. And have their ego is so fucking blown out that they have no idea what they sound
impulse
like.
Controlled.
Or they don't even give a shit, really. They just don't give a shit, right? So I didn't know this whole backstory. So Tomb Finance is another liquidity model that's actually hugely popular on Phantom. And it was built with an open source product called Basis Cash on Ethereum that I had never heard of. I've heard of Tomb, but I'd never heard of Basis Cash. Basis Cash was built with an MIT license. So open source platform and protocol. And somebody created Tomb Finance using that platform. And essentially it's another stable coin mechanism with bonds below, bonds above, this massive complexity, but lots of people making a lot of money on it because the returns are really good when you invest in this thing, right? But there's extreme risk that if it goes below the peg, that there's all kinds of a mess. So Tomb is we've actually talked about Tomb because Tomb is not pegged to the US dollar. It's pegged to Phantom. It's pegged to FTM, right? So there's all kinds of risk associated with this. I haven't done enough research to understand all the mechanics of how it works, but here's what I do know. Evidently, a few months ago, Harry decided to take over Tomb Finance. I don't know how that all happened, but he decided he wanted to own Tomb Finance. He's also involved in a number of other phantom projects that normally you would see a page like this and you think, oh, Harry put in, $500,000 to support it and has tokens. No, Harry fucking owns everything. Harry doesn't invest. Harry buys, right? Harry takes control. So I don't know the structure of all the deals with all these protocols, but
Chidao.
Yeah, but I do know that Harry's heavily involved with all of them. So evidently Harry decided he wanted to actually hands-on run a protocol. So he took over Tomb Finance and then proceeded last weekend or sometime in the last week to go out and tell everybody in the ecosystem that if you have a Tomb fork, evidently they got very popular and dozens of them were created very similar to the Olympus DAO forks, right? If you have a Tomb fork, I'm coming after you. I'm going to sue the shit out of you. He pulled the Tomb Finance code out of GitHub and is rewriting the license to no longer be open source. But he's just declaring all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And all of these people forked this platform. He's got no legal grounds. But the problem is, if you've launched a fork and he comes after you with billions of dollars in court, you're fucked, right? Because all he's going to do is bleed you dry. He's going to just bleed your project dry. So he announced he was on this vendetta and that he was going to fucking basically take something open source and make it closed source. And then he started publicly going after specific projects and calling them scams and rug pulls. No evidence of it.
He's going to get sued himself for that.
He could very well. No evidence of the scams and rug pulls. Nothing. Just going after them. And he started jumping into Discords, accusing all of the founders of being crooks, doing all this shit, right? And he admits it. So I'm not actually risking anything here by saying this. He posted, so he did this with this project called, their Twitter handle is _2OMB, but it's Tomb, T-O-M-B, and 3-Ohm, right? So it's a Tomb fork. Well, he jumped into their fucking Discord and started accusing the founder of being crooked. This was a rug pull and a scam, telling everyone to get out. Of course, what happens? The price tanks, goes under peg, harms all the investors that are in there. Turns out the founder of 2-Ohm is a fucking 16-year-old high school student, right? Who built this thing. It was incredibly successful. And that's why Harry went after it, because it was taking cash out of Tomb. Everybody was moving over to 2-Ohm and he didn't like it. So he decided to go accuse this kid. Well, evidently within the last week as well, two guys in the community decided to convince the 16-year-old kid that he should set up a multi-sig so everyone feels safer. And these two guys are two of the three signatures. So they effectively pushed the 16-year-old out, right? So the kid builds this project up. It's a big success, strong community. They push this kid out. Now they have control over all the money in the treasury. And Harry comes in and guess what? Starts accusing it of being a rug pull and a scam. Well, what happens? The price drops. What does Harry do? Harry starts buying up the tokens, right? Like, this is such classic fucking shit. It's just grinds my ass. Just grinds my ass. So,
well, the good thing is he's doxxed, so everybody can go after him.
Yeah, but so then suddenly Harry realizes how awesome this community of 2-Ohm is, and now he's going to partner with 2-Ohm and Tomb and marry the two together in some way and create this fabulous system, right? So he posts. I didn't know the whole story yet, right? I didn't know the whole fucking story of this putz. And I start reading this Medium post by this fucking guy. And I started to count the number of times the word I appeared in.
Oh God, I hate that.
But I lost count of it. But I almost stopped reading, but I was like a train wreck. I almost stopped reading when I said, in order for you to understand and interpret how I came to the decision to partner Tomb Finance with 2 and 3 Ohm, you must please follow my instructions and read the whole article. I'm like, who the fuck is this person? Right?
What's this guy's name again?
Harry Yeh. I don't know if anybody knows how it's pronounced. Let me know.
No, I just got it. It's that's what it is. I just Googled it. And it's like,
Okay.
So I got the YouTube page up in case anybody wants to hear the real. I'm horrible with Chinese accents.
So I go through this whole article and he tries to apologize for doing this, right? So then what happens? The end result is everybody gets pissed at him in the 2 Ohm for calling it a rug and a scam. And everybody starts tanking Tomb, right? So now all of his investors in Tomb are getting fucked over because they're losing all their value. It's dropping below peg and now they're fucked. So he tries to come in here and apologize and then explain everything that he's doing. But essentially what he's saying in this post is, I'm a fucking dictator. I'm taking over this shit. I don't really care, although I'll tell you I care about what happened to everybody. And this is going to be a success because I believe in the community. All absolute, total bullshit. The guy, I highly encourage everyone to go read this post because I have never, ever seen anything like this. So
yeah, I just put up a quick link of him speaking at the Phantom DC in Abu Dhabi in 2021, November 18th. So you could watch that too.
I'm going to make a Bitly. Hold on. Let me do a Bitly real quick of this article so everybody can go to it. So we're going to call it DL for DeFi Lunch Putts.
There you go.
Oh. Copy. So anybody can go read this epic. Oh, that's not it. Well, I guess it'll do. It didn't save my change, but that's okay. You guys can use that. Anyway, so this would be entertaining and just funny, except this makes me very concerned about the Phantom ecosystem and the power that this guy has. It makes me concerned that he's going to pull shit like this across the board with other protocols, that he's going to try to consolidate protocols under him, that he's going to go in and buy people out, buy up all the token supplies, control the governments, all that good shit. And he's I'm sorry,
I was going to say, it looks like a plump Justin Sun.
There you go. And he operates like a Justin Sun.
Yeah, I put his domain up too. It's harryyeah.com.
Yeah. I mean, it's like just oozing ego, obnoxious shit. The whole website is just pitiful. So my concern now is the Phantom ecosystem, right? I have real concerns about a guy like this running rampant, just taking over fucking protocols and then accusing other protocols in the ecosystem of being scams and rug pulls. To me, that's a dangerous place for this chain to be. So I'm really concerned about it. I'm not going to bail on Phantom. I love Phantom and I love the team behind it. I think Andre's awesome. Simone's awesome, but I do have concerns. Now I've talked to a few people that I know leading projects in the space and involved in the space, and they are all as concerned. And they seem to hold on to a bit of respect for Harry because their dealings with him in the past have been strong, solid. He really wanted to help the ecosystem. He was trying to make it grow, blah, blah, blah. But they say over the last few weeks, they have been thoroughly amazed at the behavior. So I don't know.
He seems like a scrappy guy. He's basically touting that he started with $500 and created this hedge fund and this and that.
Look, it's a great success story that he's become this success, but you obviously have zero fucking clue what the D and DeFi stands for. I mean, it's just this fucking money arrogance. I encourage everyone to read this article or at least get as far through it as you possibly can without needing to fucking chuck, because no offense, Chuck, vomit. Because because it is. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. So anyway,
Well,
I'm not
as they
giving up
say,
on Phantom, and I think Phantom is an obviously strong chain, and the community is stronger than somebody like this. But I think it has a potential to put a damper on some people's participation. Like you have all these investors that are in Tomb and in 2Ohm, and then this guy comes out of nowhere and fucks all of you. It's not going to. They're going to go look at Avalanche, right? They're going to go look at other Binance. Why have some rando come in and screw up your investments, right? Because he doesn't have the maturity to think about what he's going to say before he says it.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't see how you take down open source code, make a few changes, and then go after everybody who used the open source code.
Because you have the attorneys to do it. Like,
yeah, but
he's not going to go after anybody with a big bankroll. He's going to go after the 16-year-olds launching projects that don't really have enough money to defend against it, bleed them dry, and take over the project.
Yeah, well, this is what I say to the 16-year-old. Is he doxxed?
No.
Okay. So, look, you need a lawyer, dude.
Yeah.
And if you want a referral to the chairman of either Denton's or Hogan Lovells, DM me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or come on the show. We'll hook you up. You got to pay, but they'll bury this guy.
Yeah.
So I hate this shit.
I do too, man. It's just it's this kind of shit that really bothers me in the community, and it it doesn't have to be this way, right? If you believed enough to invest in Phantom, you should be smart enough. He should be smart enough to understand the impact of his actions on the chain, right?
Yeah.
If nothing else, think about your own selfish investment, right? When you do shit like this, you think you can't be touched and nobody will care, but people are going to care. Projects are going to think twice about being on Phantom because of this shit.
Yeah, and also think about all the other crypto billionaires that are like, who is this asshole?
Exactly.
And, they're going to team up to crush him now. I mean, that's just the way it works in billionaire finance, traditional side, but as well as crypto. So I would look to see the good, I mean, if that's a thing, good billionaires going after this guy. I think this is kind of like, you must have been pissed off about something and did something stupid, but why? It's not like he built it.
No,
it's not like he wrote the code.
No. And he's going after people for copying open source code that his project, now that he bought, the project he bought is based on an MIT license.
I know. I've sort of thought about things like this in the past. Those MIT licenses are everywhere.
Yeah, but I guarantee you what he thinks is, look, I have enough money that I can crush any of them with my attorneys. And so I'll eliminate all competition in the space, and I'll keep everyone scared of coming into the space. And, that's how often these things are done, is you just intimidate legally because the other people don't have the bank that you have. So anyway.
No, I'm just saying Quantum FinTech is Delaware Corporation. So he's in a U.S. jurisdiction, which means that it's open season on him.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of company profiles here, Crunchbase, Quantum FinTech, a couple other ones. So there's a SPAC there too. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but is the SEC going to go after the guy with billions of dollars, or are they going to go after the little guys? They're going to go after the little guys because they don't want to fight him in court, and they know this guy will fight him. That's the problem.
No, well, I'm not saying the SEC will go after him. I'm saying that
they should.
Other people can sue him in Delaware court. The other crypto billionaires. I mean, it's not like he's doxxed or hanging out in an international location where it's more difficult. This is U.S. court, so all his assets are in the U.S. or a big chunk is.
Yeah.
So that's a big pot of money that those lawyers will just be salivating over.
You would think, yeah.
So we'll see.
I shot this over to our buddy Andrew Thurman, make sure he knew what was going on because I'd love for him to cover it. So.
Yeah. But, this is the kind of stuff that I don't like either. I mean, picking on a 16-year-old, just cut a deal with him. And then, I don't know if he did it, but community members then hijacking the multi-sig wallet.
Yeah.
You need to give it. I could see what probably was said. I don't know. This guy's getting ready to sue you unless you let us have 2 of the 3 slots. You know, because it's not like they did it. I mean, common sense says it's not like they did it independently.
You would, It certainly
that's a
seems
hell of
like
a-
this could have been a what's the word I'm looking for? RICO? Oh, is that the word?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
An organized attempt to
Running and
take
ongoing
over a
criminal
financial
enterprise?
asset illegally.
Well, I think all those guys are probably violating a lot of RICO predicates left and right. The question is, do you roll that out against him? I think that the kid just needs to lawyer up and go get his.
Yeah.
As to everything else the guy does, I don't know, but I don't like that it taints or tarnishes Phantom.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's not, because I like Phantom a lot.
I did too. Look, I think at the
ran.
end of the day, the community and the team are strong enough that this can be overcome. It's just a bad form. And on his part, it's just stupid. I mean, that's when your arrogance costs you money because you think you are untouchable. That's when you need help, because if you've invested all this money in Phantom, you've invested in this money in protocols there, and then you don't realize that your arrogance and stupidity is actually going to harm those investments, which is exactly what will happen, right? How do you trust Tomb Finance not having erratic behavior around the protocol, right? How do you trust anything that he touches not being dangerous? So anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, these are the skills that they do in traditional finance all the time. I mean, if anybody's watched Billions, this shit goes on constantly. And that's pretty, I mean, some of that stuff's obviously exaggerated, but I mean, that is the way you do it.
Now, one more piece of irony.
Yes.
So after he took over Tomb Finance, guess what he did? Before he decided to sue people for forks, he forked Olympus DAO.
There you go. What's good for the goose should be good for the gander, right?
I tweeted yesterday. I said Olympus DAO should shoot the shit out of Harry Yee for forking Olympus DAO.
Yeah, because he took the only. Well, it was just at that one moment they were basic in GitHub. It was just there as a proprietary version for the 5 seconds when he took it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have a memo somewhere backing that up. Then let's make it proprietary for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
And then give it back, because we have to fix this one, change a period to a comma.
Yeah.
And then let's come back and put it back out open source. Oops.
Can you just believe this dude? I mean, he's a piece of work, man.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing for us to think about, in the sense of, it's how not to behave. I mean, This is where people blow it. Look, I'm going to say, if I was ever a billionaire, I personally don't want to be, because I think it's too much of a hassle. But if I was, I'd probably end up giving all the money away.
Yeah.
In my younger days, I was always the first one to buy a round of cocktails for everybody. I was always the one who spent shitloads of money on fun. So I would just give it away.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy who wants to hoard a bunch of stuff. I use it for fun and freedom. That's it.
Yeah.
The market seems to be going down a little bit.
So real quick, tomorrow, my episode with Emma Jane is coming out. Remember we met Emma at
Digital X?
Yep.
Cool.
And listening to it again for the edits, I'm just blown away how brilliant this woman is. My daughter is not going to understand anything she says about crypto, but I'm going to make her watch this interview, because this woman is just brilliant. Absolutely going to be a powerhouse in crypto. She is just another level of intellect. And look, she was a rocket engineer, and then she managed Black Swan fund algorithms. So obviously she had the smarts already, but her philosophical and intellectual capabilities are just incredible. Just blows me away.
Wasn't her dad? I mean, I think wasn't her dad astrophysicist or something like that?
I believe
her dad was some type of scientist, and she is very close to him, and so that's why the math and all of that, she just gets it, and
she's so smart,
fun.
And she's an awesome communicator and a motivator. I mean, she's like this package of leader that's pretty astounding. Like,
you just reminded me, I never messaged Stella her person, the person
Yeah,
that works with her that runs
why don't you go ahead and message her? We'll get her on DeFi lunch next week.
Cool. All right, I'll send her a message.
Right. Send her a message. Tell her we want to get her on the show.
Yeah, this just so everybody knows, the token's called Monavale. It's digital axe, it's digital fashion NFTs, and a whole bunch more.
And they have an awesome DAO infrastructure in that organization. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the way they built this community into the DAO, and how all these designers, both professional and amateur, are coming together, developers, artists. It's just a really, it's an amazing thing that they've built. And frankly, as anyone will tell you, especially my wife, I've never had anything to do with fashion.
But dude, what you do is fashion. But
what she explains is that what I think is fashion is not fashion. Fashion is identity. Fashion is
look,
and it doesn't mean stylists. It means
you're just communicating. You don't give a fuck, and that's fashion.
Exactly.
Exactly. So we
and
always
anyway,
have that
and its role
thing versus fashion. Go ahead.
Yeah, and its role and importance in our lives, and why it's so critical to what's happening in crypto and in NFTs and in metaverse. So anyway, that'll be out tomorrow. Everybody, encourage you to watch, listen, because she's just brilliant. So
tokens, Monavale, the governance token, and the max supply is only 10,000.
Yeah.
It's circulated between like 400. It's at 407 right now, but it's been as high as 2 at different points. So this is one to do. And there's another play. If you go to their website, there's another utility token in there. I can't remember what that one's called, that is used on the platform, but just a fantastic group. And
all of them, everybody we met on that team was just amazing.
Who was the other person we were talking to that had the London accent that was actually from Minnesota?
Lauren? Oh yeah, she's the one that was working in France for a designer and left a full-time design gig with a major designer to come work on her own on Digital X.
Yeah, because her designs, like I think Stella coordinates all the fashion artists and like new people, and so this is why anybody who's interested in fashion should look these. Anybody who's young and looking for something to do, interested in fashion, should connect up with Stella in particular, because she's running that whole group. It's like an apprenticeship program, or a way that they get exposure for their designs. And the other gal, I think her name was Lauren. I've got it somewhere. She was the one that was doing those kind of fashion overlays where you can. It's like a filter, but not a filter. It was really weird because I can't remember. It would change the look when you saw her versus in the fabric or something like that, versus when you saw somebody else. Like there's patterns and things embedded in it. It was very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this space because think about it. Play to earn games. We talk about NFTs and games a lot. I mean, these are, NFTs are skins and things like that. They're big in esports.
Yep.
So anybody that's into gaming, esports, all of that, and crypto, and gives a shit what their character avatar looks like, should check this out. Yeah. Oh, they fixed the website. I mean,
yeah, it's really good. And it sounds like the DAO infrastructure is forkable, which is very interesting. Joe, quick note to everyone. The Dash from, oh my God, XIO asked me last minute to jump on and be a judge for kind of a Shark Tanky kind of thing they're doing with projects in their little incubator system. So I'll be on in 47 minutes on Twitter Spaces. I'll tweet now the link to that, but check it out. We're kind of doing this seat of the pants, I guess, but they're giving away. Block Zero Labs is the name of his project. I interviewed him. You guys can check the interview that I did with Dash on how this came about. He's a really powerful, persuasive leader. He's worked, his butt off to build something pretty powerful. So I highly encourage everyone to hop in at 2:00 and listen to us, hear some pitches and see what comes out the other side. I have no idea about any of these projects.
You got a link for that?
I just retweeted it, so it'll be at the top of my profile, B05 Crypto.
Cool.
So you guys check it out there, please.
Will do. All right, man.
All right, buddy. Have a great day, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spreading the word. Thanks for coming in and listen to me rant and Joe rant and talk. I rant. Joe doesn't rant really, but
Only
really appreciate it. If you get a chance, please review us on your favorite podcast app or Apple Podcasts as well. You can give us a thumb up and subscribe on YouTube. It helps a lot. Our YouTube audience is starting to grow, even though we haven't done anything to promote it. And all of our episodes of DeFi Lunch and Mission DeFi are available at missiondefi.com. That is also where you can get links for subscribing to the podcast. Thanks, man.
Fabulous.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later, Brad. Bye.
Bye.